Hi, you're welcome to day two, and I'm Tolulade, a software data engineer. In today's episode, we're going to be learning about the problem statement. Don't forget that we are building a solution for an hrtech company as well as an accelerator to enable them to select the 50 best candidates from a pool of about 2,000, right? And today our key goal is to understand the problem statement. So let's take a further dive. Now, the next thing we need to look at is the outcome. What are the possible outcomes that can happen? Now, I always advise folks that before you take a dive into any software engineering project, you understand the problem. You put it out there, right? What are my parameters? So that is basically what we're doing today. Now, the very first possible outcome is that we've seen here is the particular HR tech company or accelerator. Every year they get about 2,000 people coming to apply for their program year in and year out. So that's a number, and you can imagine what does it take for human to review the application from 1 to 2,000. That's going to be painstaking, right? So that's one outcome. Now the second outcome is we want to create the 50. We want to select the 50 best applicant, right, from our pool of 2,000. So that is basically an outcome. Then the next thing we want to do is we want to create a wider pool. Now we have the 50 best candidates. Then we can create another layer on top of the 50, which is about 100. For example, let's say someone from the 50 drops, a candidate from 50 drops, we can have a backup to replace the particular candidate from our medium pool of 100. Then now the last outcome here is we want to get the final 10, right? Because that is the key goal. The final 10 here are the top best fit candidates for a particular accelerator or HR tech company. So like I said initially, we have the first one, which we already know. We know that about 2,000 candidates apply. The next thing we want to do, like I said, we want to be able to get the 50 best candidates. Then we're going to create a particular layer. Let's say, for example, we have 100 layer just for a backup pool. Then at the end of it all, we're going to be able to select our 10, the 10 best fit candidate. All right, so let's take a look at how we can translate the problem. Now, the very first approach is we are going to create a system, what we call the multi-stage filtering system, right? Now, let's not forget that while creating this system, we are going to be fetching varieties of data. For example, the candidates have already applied via Google Forms or Airtable or via the website, for instance. And also, we're going to be fetching additional information about the user, like their LinkedIn data, or any of their social media data. So that can come in an unstructured format. So we have the structured and the unstructured format. So basically, we're going to use this in creating a multi-stage filtering approach. The next thing we want to do is we want to do what we call parameter definitions. Now let's take a look at this. In selecting our first wider medium pool of 100, we need to place them into different categories. For example, I want to know who are what particular startup or what particular candidate is coming in from. Is he an early stage employee or early stage candidate? Is it a mid-term? In the case of startup, for instance, I want to know, is the startup funded, or perhaps is the startup in an MVP stage, or are they launched already? So what business stage are they currently in? Then I also want to know, okay, are the founders technical or non-technical? So that is already a classifier already, right? And the next thing I also want to know, or the third thing here I would like to also know, is the market focus. It could be fintech, it could be agri-tech, it could be insurtech. There could be varieties of these, right? Because this will help us when we create our clusters and our buckets, because we use this to what we call to create to improve the diversity and representation. Don't forget, in the next video, which you should also watch, we're going to learn about what we call the bias mitigation. Because now we're going to use each of these parameters. After we've been able to do our multi-stage filtering, we're going to use it to do what we call to improve the bias, or not to improve, to reduce the bias, basically, or basically to improve the bias system. Yeah, because the key goal of the bias system is to reduce bias, right? So so we're going to need this information when we get there. So thank you for watching this video, and don't forget to subscribe and watch my next video on this topic. Thank you. Bye.